everyone, it's Dawn here and welcome back. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend and enjoyed everything that you've been doing. Well, today and this week and probably quite a few other days and weeks, we're going to get back to our original concept on this channel. We're going to get back to art, and in particular watercolour painting, with a few watercolour pencil paintings thrown in for good measure. But today I'm going to show you a little trick that I discovered a couple of days ago. How to paint rocks that look rough. When I say rocks, I don't mean mid-distant rocks. I mean something like a big rock here, right in the foreground. And we're going to use traditional watercolour paints, as I've said, and we're going to get straight on with it. Now, we're going to use, just like we did on my last painting demonstration, we're going to use an acrylic medium. And yes, you can use acrylic mediums in watercolour. I've dispelled the myth that you can't because I've done it. And we're going to use acrylic texture paste. Yes, I did say texture paste, but we're not going to mix it into the paint. That's how you do it with acrylics, I believe. And someone's nodding at me in the corner who does acrylics. But you can't quite manage that in watercolour, even with the artist, because it's not really thick enough. But what we can do, I'm going to use my painting knife. I know some people call it a palette knife, but technically it's called a painting knife. But we're going to use it as a palette knife. So don't tell it and it'll never know. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to scrape a bit out like that, and we're going to trowel it onto our rock like that. So right, I was just looking up because I had a horrible feeling there that I hadn't pressed the record button, but I have, so we're all right. We're going to carry on. That would have been this week's deliberate mistake if I hadn't, but there we go, I have, so we'll carry on, and we're just going to trowel it on like that. This is only a small painting just to really show you, and when we're finished with this process I will bring in my full-size painting that I did the other day to show you what it looks like when it's dry, because I did have to leave it overnight to dry. And I'm putting this on fairly thick, not very thick, but I'm using the point of my knife to put in the texture and the little ruts within the rock. I'm sure there are technical terms for that, but I'm not a geologist, so I don't know what they are. So there we go, we're going to put these little ruts and textury bits, that's a new technical term. And we're going to do that until we think we've got enough, and I think we've got enough there. Now what you must do is you must wipe your knife off fairly quickly. And over in my corner, my other corner, I've got some baby wipes. And what I'm going to do is take a baby wipe out of the cloth like that. Oh, I've managed to take out the whole lot, never mind. We'll carry on. And all we do is we wipe it like this. Just take your baby wipe and wipe your knife over the baby wipe and it will be clean. I would advise you to give it a good wash afterwards as well. We're going to swish it in the water in a minute. But if you leave texture paste on your painting knife, it will dry and it will ruin it. So I'm just going to wipe it off, and I'm going to leave it in the water for now, so it can't dry, and when we're done I am going to give that a good wash, but we'll carry on for now. And then what we're going to do, we're not even going to wait for it to dry, we're going to go straight in with our paint. So there we go, I'm using just I don't know what this is, a number 8. This is the SAA silver brush, number 8. I'm not being clever, I just looked at it, I rolled it round and it says that it's a number 8 on there. These are, this isn't a new brush, I've had it for a while, I quite like the SAA brushes, they're nice and round, well the round ones are anyway, and they hold a nice point. They hold their shape very well, which is good. So I'm just going to move my texture paste out the way. In fact, I'm going to put the lid on because I don't want to push it over. There we go, let's just move all this clutter out the way and we can get on with the painting. So I'm just going to hold that down there like that, and I'm going to start at the tip of my rock, or the bottom of the rock, and I'm going to paint over it with my paint. Now you may need, depending on how much texture paste you've put on, I've put on probably a bit more than I did the other day, but that's alright. And you'll just have to keep on picking up paint as we go along. And we may have to go back over and do this again, in fact we probably will, unless you want a paler rock of course. So we'll keep on doing that. And just to let you know, I have used a mixture of burnt umber and burnt sienna for my rock colour. We are indeed going to go over that again. So I'm going to wash it out. Do wash your brush out, because you might pick up some acrylic texture paste on it, and if that dries, it dries like cement once it goes hard, and you will not get it off your brush once it's hard. So do please make sure, or use an old brush. Perhaps if you're not used to this type of painting, use an old brush. And I'm going to bring in my little tray of colours here. These aren't pans, they're watercolour tube colours. And I'm just going to take some burnt sienna, which is that one there. And, no, I've only got one pair of hands, that's the only problem with this. When you do your own camera work, it's a bit tricky, but I'm going to put it on there like that. This is how I mix. Then I'm going to go straight in with my burnt umber. There, like that. Nice and cloggy. New technical term there, cloggy. And I'm just going to mix that in. I can hear laughter in the corner. He always laughs at my jokes. He's a good husband, even when he has heard them 10,000 times before. So we get a nice rich coating of paint on our brush, like that, just by rolling it around in the palette. This is just an old plastic tray, so you don't have to use any specific palette. So we're going back to our painting. Ah, that's better. Lovely. And if there are any little light bits, don't worry, let them stay, let them be, because you're always going to get light hitting the rock at certain areas. So we'll just carry on. And it's probably a good idea to wear something old. I mean old clothing, because like I've just done, you might just dip your sleeve in the paint, especially if you're as messy as I am. So we're going to carry on. We're nearly done. And make this nice and rich. You could even take it further than that if you wanted to and build up another layer. But I don't think we will this time. I think we'll just play about with it until we're happy with it. And what you can do is leave it to dry, and then once it's dry, go over it again, if you wish. But it did take, mine took overnight to dry, and I'm not going to sit there overnight. So I think that'll do for now, because that shows you what it looks like. So we're going to wash our brush out very thoroughly, just in case it's picked up any texture paste. And shall we put some birdies in the sky just to finish it off? Yeah, why not? Let's go for it. Now I'm going to pick up my SAA liner writer brush. And I've got some mixture down here. This is bird painting colour, new colour. It's actually Payne's Grey and a little bit of burnt umber mixed in. So I'm just going to roll my brush around. There's no texture medium in this. Well, at least I hope there isn't. And we're going to just roll it around like that. Coat the brush, just like that. Not like that, just like that. And we're going to pick it up. I'm going to stop messing about, possibly. And now, just another little tip. Don't put an even number in. It never seems to work. I think it's because when people put even numbers of birds, they try and make it symmetrical, and it doesn't look natural. So all we're going to do, if you can draw a letter V, you can do this. So we're going to go out and in, like that. So again, we'll put one there. How about we put one there, slightly bigger one at the top, out and in. So that one, he's turning into the wind, so you can see more of the underside of his wing. And we won't have them all going in the same direction. Perhaps we'll have another one coming out like that. Perhaps another one there. You can carry on doing this forever. I think we'll put 7 in. One there, and one right over there, I think. That'll do, otherwise we'll flood the sky with birds and we won't be able to see any sky, because it is quite good fun. So there we go, one little painting. And just to show you what the rock looks like, I'm going to bring you in the painting, my original painting that I did. I'm going to pop that out the way just for a second. I've got texture paste all over the place, but never mind. And I'm going to move my water, because I can see that going flying. And there is the original painting. That's the texture, and if I put my hand over it, you can actually hear the texture as I rub my finger over it. That will be the smooth bit, and that's the texture. And if I hold it up, you can see the texture in the little bits within the rock. So that's my original painting. Pop that over there. And that's the one that we just did together. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and it's given you an idea of how to paint rocks with texture into your paintings. So thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. And I will be back tomorrow with another watercolour painting and a different idea for your pictures. So I'll see you then. And in the meantime, stay safe and have fun with all you do. and happy painting. Bye bye for now.